What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing the weekly football talk, covering last week and this week. I wasn't able to really watch many of the games. I was out of state. I'll probably talk about that a little bit more in my next video. But I was out of state, so I could only watch a little bit in a restaurant and the limited stuff that the hotel had. So we got some stuff to get through. Of course, week 4 was pretty eventful. There wasn't a whole lot of upsets. There's still some high-scoring games, which I'm not surprised. And coach got fired today. Right there, Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy. Is it Gundy or Dundee? I think it's Gundy. Anyway, he got fired. I'm not surprised, but yeah, so I saw that and I was like, you know what, today would be a perfect day to do this. So I'll try to get it under 20 minutes. We should be able to, but so we'll start off with Thursday, and then Friday, and then Saturday. Talk about what happened in these days, and then this week's headlines, and then this week's predictions, and that'll be an update of how we're doing. So Thursday, Rice beat Charlotte, thankfully. Charlotte's not good this year. They really haven't been. So luckily, helped me out on my pick there. Tulsa beat Oklahoma State. That was the finisher for Mike, and that's why he got fired. 19-12 was the final score. And then Iowa beat Rutgers 38-28. Had Rutgers win just because they were the home team, but couldn't get it done. The only thing that happened over these 2 days was Tulsa upset Oklahoma State for the first time since 27 years. That would put it at, what, 1998? It's crazy. I picked them, just because Tulsa's been doing good and Oklahoma State hasn't been doing so good. But, I didn't actually expect them to win, so, it is what it is. We'll get into Saturday. As always, the ones I got wrong, I put the score by them. And we'll go through it. So, this first sheet, we went 35-11. There were 46 total games on this sheet. We got the Maryland-Wisconsin game wrong. Maryland won by 17, 27-10. Arkansas lost to Memphis. Memphis had a comeback, big-time comeback. They won by 1 point, 32-31. Syracuse went into Clemson and won 34-21. We had a whole string of them, right, which was nice to see. And then we struggled a little bit up here. James Madison beat Liberty 31-13. East Michigan beat Louisiana 34-31. West Michigan beat Toledo 14-13. I got rather unlucky again with some of my picks, but, it's fine. It happens. Duke beat NC State 33-45. NC State's really good this year. They probably won't make playoffs, but it'll probably be like a 7-8 win team, most likely. Delaware beat FIU 38-16. Delaware's doing pretty good in the first FBS season. Kennesaw State beat Arkansas State 28-21. Coastal Carolina beat South Alabama 38-20. And Indiana just laid that hammer down on Illini 63-10. Okay, that's the headlines for Saturday. In this paper, we went 9-4. So a grand total, I'll just do this real quick. We were 46-16 this week. It's only a 74% rate, but overall we are 195-41, which is good for 82%. We got the Arizona State Baylor game wrong. Arizona State won by 3. Louisiana Tech beat Southern Miss by 10, 30-20. I'll probably keep picking Southern Miss, because I can't. Why not? UL Monroe beat UTEP 31-25. I don't think UTEP was supposed to win, but this was the one I forgot to circle in the video, so I just circled UTEP. And then San Diego State handed Cal their first win by blanking them 34-0. And that was it. So I will go over the headlines from Saturday. Wasn't a whole lot, like I said. It was eventful, but not anything close to the last couple weeks. Indiana blows out Illini 63-10. Oklahoma beats Auburn 24-17. Texas Tech beats Utah 34-10. Vandy scored the most points in 107 years, 70-21 versus Georgia State. Memphis had a big comeback, like I said, versus Arkansas. They were once down 28-10 and ended up winning. Syracuse beat Clemson and upset them 34-21. Syracuse actually got a $25,000 penalty fine they got to pay for, faking injuries or something like that. Army lost another overtime game versus North Texas 45-38. That put them at 1-2. The two losses are in overtime, and they lost by a field goal. By one score. East Michigan had a walk-off field goal versus Louisiana 34-31. Troy had 21 fourth quarter points to beat Buffalo 21-17. Talk about a comeback. San Jose State had a walk-off field goal versus Idaho 31-28. And Arizona State had a walk-off field goal versus Baylor 27-24. So, good amount of walk-off field goals. Like I said, it was eventful, and it wasn't as crazy as some of the other weeks, but it had its stuff. All right, now that's done. I'm gonna go take care of something real quick. We got week 5 headlines, then we got picks, and that's it. So, week 5 headlines. Just a couple ranking updates. BYU and TCU have entered the top 25. Both were unranked before. And Illini dropped from 9 to 23. How Illini is still ranked after getting blown out at Indiana is beyond me. I would have put them in, like the 30s, high 20s, low 20s, like 28, 29, or even in the 30s. But top 25 for Illini, very questionable. Obviously, I did this yesterday, but like I said, Oklahoma State's head coach got fired. Otherwise, that'd be on here. And some of the big games for Week 5, 24th ranked TCU at Arizona State, 21 USC at 23 Illini, number 1 Ohio State at Washington, number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. That will be a good game, hopefully. Auburn at number 9 Texas A&M, number 11 Indiana at Iowa, number 15 Tennessee versus Mississippi State, Arizona versus 14 Iowa State. Arizona's undefeated. So we'll see how that goes. Probably in like week 6, I'll probably do updated of who's undefeated. We'll slowly take names off that list as we go. 6 Oregon versus 3 Penn State. Another great game, and one more just because number 17 Alabama versus number 5 Georgia. So we got some great games coming up this week. I'm all here for it. So as always, we have 1 game on Thursday. We got 3 on Friday, and probably like 40-50 games on Saturday. So before we get into picks, as always, we have our cards. We got Derrick Henry and Michael Parsons. I think this is 2022 Panini Prism draft picks. No, 2024. I was way off. Okay. 91 Oklahoma State Collegiate card, and Amon-Ra St. Brown Leaf rookie. I think that's like 2019. Of course, we got Bucky the Badger helping us with our picks, and then of course Tom and Jerry as well. So week 5 picks. Thursday, Army at East Carolina. We're taking East Carolina. Army is struggling. ECU's pretty good. They almost beat NC State on the road, so we're going with East Carolina. Friday, I got some Road Warriors taking some wins here. Florida State at Virginia, TCU at Arizona State, and Houston at Oregon State. Oregon State's 0-4. Houston should pick up a win. Same with Florida State and TCU. So, Thursday and Friday, usually I only miss maybe one. So, it's usually not too bad. And Saturday, I fit all the games on one paper. Finally, I was able to do that. Didn't have to do front, back, or add another paper. So hopefully, we'll be getting out of this video under 20 minutes because we're only at 10.5 minutes right now. So, I didn't miss any games this week. I actually circled all of them. I think I've done that once or twice now. So at noon, as always, they start at noon and go away till the last game of the day. Georgia Tech should pick up a win on the road against Wake Forest. I actually have USC going into Illinois and picking up a win. I think Illinois is going to try to prove themselves, but they might try a little too hard and lose. Notre Dame at Arkansas should win. Arkansas's good, but not great. Rutgers at Minnesota. We're taking Rutgers again. Some of these teams, I'm just going to keep picking them until they prove me wrong because they should do better. Duke at Syracuse. Normally I'd pick Duke all day, but Syracuse is actually holding their own this year. So we're taking them to win. Should be a packed stadium just because they beat Clemson. Louisville at Pitt. That'll be a good game, a little rivalry action in the ACC. We're going to take Louisville. Cincinnati at Kansas. Cincinnati might win, and that might be a good game, but we're going to take Kansas. They're on a roll. UCF at Kansas State should be an easy win. I don't want to say easy win, but UCF should win that one. We got some home teams picking up some wins now. North Texas hosts South Alabama. North Texas has been pretty good. Ohio Bobcats versus Bowling Green in what is that? It's not the Ohio Valley Conference, I don't think. But they're in the same conference. Should be a good game. Vandy should have an easy win versus Utah State. See if Vandy can crack the top 15, maybe top 10 by the end of the season. Central Michigan hosts in-state East Michigan. Should win that one. James Madison at home versus Georgia Southern. I got James Madison winning that one. Arkansas State at UN Monroe. I'm hoping they can win. I don't think they have a good chance, but I hope they do. Ohio State at Washington should win. It might be a good game, just because it's at Washington, but we'll see what Ohio State can do. Ole Miss Ole Miss hosting LSU. That should be a barn burner. Absolutely great game. We're going to take Ole Miss. Texas A&M at home versus Auburn. I think Auburn's going to slip to, what are they, 2-2? I think they would be. Texas A&M should win. Texas A&M is pretty good this year. Indiana at Iowa should win. Again, with all these conference games, it'll probably be closer than expected, but Indiana should win. UCLA at Northwestern. UCLA, I am hoping they pick up their first win. You got a new coach. They're at a Northwestern football team who's not the best. No reason they can't win. Cal versus Boston College. Cal's good this year. So let's see if Cal can win. Baylor at Oklahoma State. Baylor should win that one. No questions about it. And then Utah at West Virginia. Utah, I'm hoping is going to win that one. UConn at Buffalo. Buffalo blew their lead last week. Probably looking for a little bit of payback, but the UConn's going to win. San Diego State at Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, they're all right. San Diego State's actually pretty decent. We're going to take San Diego State. Rice and Navy. I actually almost took Rice, but I think Navy's undefeated and so forth. So we're going to go with Navy. Navy might be last year's Army. Who knows? We'll have to see with that one. Toledo versus Akron. Akron blew out Duquesne last week. Offense finally got clicking, but I think Toledo's going to slow them down and pick up the win. Miami, Ohio, another winless team. Should pick up a win against Lindenwood. Their home should be It'll probably be a good game, but I think Miami, Ohio could win that one. New Mexico host in-state New Mexico State. I think the Lobos, is it New Mexico? I think New Mexico Lobos should pick up a win. Tulane at Tulsa. Tulane should win that one. They're a bigger school. I know Tulsa just beat Oklahoma State, but we gotta be honest. Oklahoma State isn't the best this year. Hawaii at Air Force. Kind of an odd matchup. I don't know if they're conference or not. They might be, but we're gonna go with Hawaii. They're actually surprisingly not bad this year, so we're gonna take them. Tennessee at Mississippi State. We're going to take Tennessee. I think I picked Tennessee in all their games this year. I think they've only lost, one game to Georgia. So we're going to run with Tennessee until they fail us a couple too many times. Kennesaw State is at home, and they take on Middle Tennessee. Hoping that Kennesaw State can pick up a win. Old Dominion at home versus Liberty. I think hopefully Old Dominion will pick up the win. There, and this one I could be very far off, but Rhode Island FCS school is undefeated. West Michigan not the best. So why not? We're gonna take Rhode Island for the FCS victory versus West Michigan. Again, West Michigan can blow them out of the water, but just because Rhode Island's undefeated, West Michigan struggling, we got to take Rhode Island. Iowa State at home versus Arizona. I think Iowa State will hand Arizona their first loss. If Arizona wins, Arizona might crack the top 25 as well. And maybe if Illini loses and Arizona wins, I think Arizona might take Illinois' spot or somewhere in that top 20. We got NC State hosting Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech struggling this year. We're going to take NC State. Southern Miss versus Jack State. We're going to take Southern Miss in that, Sun Belt Conference. Western Kentucky at Missouri State. Missouri State's, they're not doing terrible. Their first FBS season, but they're only 2-2. So we're going to take Western Kentucky. Memphis at FAU. Memphis off a big comeback this last weekend. I think they're riding high. I think they'll go in and take care of business in Florida. Penn State versus Oregon. I think Penn State's going to win. I believe it's a night game or, evening game. They'll probably have whiteout, I would imagine. And we'll see what they can do. Again, that'll be another game that's probably going to be close, but I think Penn State should win. Georgia at home versus Alabama. Alabama not as once as they once were, or not as good as they once were. I think Georgia is going to pick up a win there. Missouri versus UMass should be an easy win for Missouri. Washington State at Colorado State. I think Washington State could pick up a win. Colorado State's offense is, it's all right. Doesn't put up a whole lot of points. I think Washington State can outscore them. That might be a shootout by the time that one's done. Stanford hosts San Jose State. I think Stanford could pick up a win there. Boise State hosts App State. Boise State's running game's actually been not terrible this year. Not as good as last year, obviously, but I think they can take down App State. South Carolina Gamecocks hoping for a bounce back against Kentucky. A little SEC action there. South Carolina should win. Gotta move that paper because it's folding. Marshall at Louisiana. I think Marshall can pick up a win. I don't want to say it'll be easy, but no reason they can't win. Louisiana Tech versus UTEP. Louisiana Tech should win. UTEP, I mean, they're all right, but I think Louisiana Tech probably a little bit better of a team. And then BYU is at Colorado. I think BYU is going to win. And Colorado and Deion Sanders will take another loss. So that's the picks. Again, I should hopefully be a little bit more involved this week watching football and keeping up with it. Just because I wasn't able to last week, I should be able to this week. So that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed college football. If I missed anything that happened, let me know in the comments. Some stuff in the NFL happened. I was thinking about literally right before I started this video, but now I can't really remember. Other than Jackson Dart is now the starting quarterback for the Giants. So how about that? And the Bears picked up their first win against my Cowboys, which, it sucks, but, somebody had to take the loss to the Bears, and just unfortunate it happened to us. So until next time, guys, see ya.